So welcome, gentlemen. My name is Paul Robson, and this video is going to be my number one most fundamental and basic point for you on the path towards sexual mastery. So we've never lived in a society that's had so much confusion about sexuality. And I think a lot of the confusion is about how to navigate a way between, on the one side, we have the path of hedonism, which is just do whatever you want, go into it, doesn't matter all the chaos and danger and destruction that you cause, just as long as you're following your feelings, don't hurt anybody else, physically, at least not in the short term. But what we normally see is in the long term, there's a whole lot of chaos and destruction that happens around this path. And on the other side, we have this path of what you could call prohibition and control and limits, where we say, no, I shouldn't do this, I mustn't do this, I mustn't do that. And so we set all kinds of limits on ourselves. And what a lot of the time we find when we do this is that sometimes there's leakages that happen and it goes into all kinds of other, self-sabotaging hidden behaviors, sometimes even hidden to ourselves in the beginning. And sometimes it becomes just kind of sucks our soul dry of energy, and we become like this, shelled, empty shell of a man, friend zoned by women and with no zest and energy and life, very gray type of person as well. So, how do we find our way out of this? Certainly reading books doesn't seem to be help. And there's a lot of dead ends and different ways that you can get stuck with it. So I just had this experience last week. I was so lucky or honored to be the best man at a friend's wedding. And just yesterday, then we met again and we went for a walk out in the sunshine where there's all snow out on the ground, and had a good man-to-man talk with this guy who's just been married for 1 week. And it was a great conversation. It's beautiful to just hear him and talking about how, how the realization dawning of what he was going into, of having made that commitment to a lifetime commitment to a woman. And, having done that myself just 3 years ago, there was a whole lot of things that were brought up for me again that I could see that I was still working on and were able to see with new light through his eyes as well. So that was really valuable. But yeah, as any good conversations are between men where we talk about women, then one of the subjects that we touched upon was on sexuality as well. And what really struck me was, while there's a whole lot of very predictive patterns that happen in human sexuality and in relating between men and women, then it's still so nuanced and there's so many different balances that need to be found in a relationship with a woman, where there's so many different things that you're trying to work on and create together. And so finding that balance and that right attitude to take between different situations is difficult. And so this led me to what I really see through thinking about this and talking with him as the most important point that I see in this path towards sexuality. And I'm going to read it up because here it is. What I would say is the most important element in the path to sexual mastery is strong relationships with other mature, supportive men with integrity and wisdom to share our experiences, thoughts, challenges, and successes with, to help us along the way to mastery of sexuality as well as life. So yeah, there you have it. This is the single one element from me for mastering of sexuality. Of course, it's a very high goal. This is what men have done throughout the ages. We orientate towards a star. We find something and we aim towards it, knowing that we're often inadequate to reach towards it. But we find other men who are willing to commit to saying, okay, well, we're going to do what we can to become the kind of men who can make progress towards that goal, growing in integrity and in vision and in strength and all of these things to be able to, get there. And that means that this is often a dangerous path to go on. It's far more dangerous than the hedonistic or the prohibition way, because it means that you have to learn and you're going into new territory. You have to step over the edge sometimes as well. So it takes a lot of courage. You get to grow in self-insight, and that learning is often painful as well. It's through pain that we often get to grow these things. So you have to risk conflicts with your partners as well, and all kinds of stuff that needs to happen as well. But the experience of the ages, I think, really tells us that this is the path, and this is the approach towards mastery. And this is what our fathers have done before us when they've been able to learn and grow. So yeah, I hope you found that useful. And if so, then please hit the subscribe button and please leave a comment if you have any thoughts. Thanks.